the demonstration and the outcome of the demonstration? Is it worth it?
Yeah, Jabi, the can mention I mention what here for a mention Lucius. Na menka say so here constitution ye di juma e okrom ha are famously known as the 1992 constitution demonstrations, protestations, remonstrations, and those are legitimate political tools. And I said democratic tools. We are dissatisfied with anything going on within the democratic sector. Me, I employ to register your displeasure. And the demonstration I've always maintained, say, even if the cause is foolish, because it's democratically, you find saying endorsed tools people can employ within a democracy, allow people to demonstrate freely because that is their constitutional right. More a source from the constitution, and that particular right must never be suppressed. So I was very happy when the IGP cleared them, and the who's Attorney General, so the state Babontin said they are free to go, and you come back to what we've been experiencing in the last 8 years. The president of the day, now President Akufo-Addo, or by year popular in this country, the gentleman who rose to political prominence through demonstration, demonstration, and the but surprisingly under him as the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, we saw how people were assaulted. Journalists, individuals. Oliver, you say wakutu police for khaki. Young people of this country were so peeved about the turn of event in terms of Galamsey activity. Taking the bull by the horn, decided, oh, this is our country, this is our future. Demonstration. These young people were arrested. They were detained and denied bail. It took another demonstration, a whole lot of public advocacy, and some issue, Ni was part of the people.
That's true.
Oliver and other people were assaulted because they demonstrated. And then Afenyo Markin and Co. had a free ride. And they did a demonstration across the length and breadth of this country, walk all the way to the presidency. And the chief of staff, deputy chief of staff, approached them and even spoke to them. And you be a you click your mind back during the last 8 years.
I see.
Because we lived in a country demonstration by a no-go area. But then the same bunch of individuals who said there is the need to us to do demonstration. Fine, I respect that, and that is it. And again, Afenyo Markin had a brush or an encounter with the police officer. The gentleman in question is not just an ordinary person. He's the minority leader of parliament. According to him, he's a lawyer. And then,
according to him,
he's a lawyer and several other he's a member of parliament. And as for he understands as a police initial police uniform that symbolizes your friends the authority of the state.
With the beret.
You don't assault a police officer in a uniform. But in that video, we saw him in the past, not police if one demonstrators and as for by a neck or no as a leader. Only member is assaulting a police officer in the presence of everybody. And then the gentleman quickly ran to TV station and said, the police officer rather assaulted him.
That is so shameful.
And then the video came out vindicating the fact, say he rather assaulted the police officer.
Very shameful.
I'm expecting, say it's good that the police has issued a statement that they want it. But you see, some of these issues, to me, end up brushing outside because as a lawmaker, you are the law, you know the law, you legislate law. You cannot be engaging in this lawless act to the extent of say, attack a police officer in the uniform. This is something I expect condemnation from across board. What is a Ghana Bar Association issue statement? These are a bunch of lawless individuals. They are there political interest and more fine because JB, when this whole Chief Justice issue came up and GBA I shall say so issue statement. I was so very surprised because over the years, because in the last 8 years, the atrocities are unleashed on the individuals. Kwanya ya use the court to frustrate people. Kwanya President Akufo-Addo fast or pack court. Ekofa known party people are inserted onto the judiciary. The GBA at the time couldn't find their senses to realize that Neema na papa no identity the credibility of your judiciary. Appointment na course there was the need. Abra Chief Justice for Accra to Din Church and the Namfo for Din and the former President Akufo-Addo said, "Oh, appoint you to the Supreme Court." No, GBA could not condemn those statements, and there are several other things. Of course, and suddenly, no, if somebody has submitted a petition to the president. And I say, oh, go through the same liar. Suddenly, this bunch of cowards are once again barking like dog in the public space. They want people to, your friends, respect them. What would the kind of backlash or within your friends saying the media space?
Yeah.
That is what I'm telling you. The next generation, you can't threaten people with me a lawyer and no, those things don't move nothing. When you speak, the intellect you display. O kasa kwanya be fa so abekasa ne nsem a abeka na manipa wu abrante o a lawyer na nyese lawyer sa keke because a lawyer ne enim lawyer wo jebi wa ponche yira sesia na wo de court a enim lawyer be frɛ no ana ye fro Supreme Court a enim lawyer be fa na di wachi so lawyers no mu nyina anya pɛ. That is what you should know, you understand. But you see the kind of standard I be set as a person, I think that is what you need to do as your friend saying as a person. But in this particular situation, you know, the whole thing turning into some kind of a political way. I say, and for me, that is very shameful. And it's a GBA, our legitimate grounds. Nanko, Mwabano, say, hey, the Ekosi, because of A, B, C, D, you know, President Mahama, Afumwe, and Nasa Wafumwe, then we have a cause to worry. But this is a legal institution, an association of lawyers. Speaking to constitutional issues, they are speaking like Sebi Obi Oye Fundaka now can law because Obi Oye Fundaka now on can law. But these are lawyers speaking like that. You understand? Because if you are speaking about issues of law, you should be able to premise your argument on law.
Now, before I just want to clarify and emphasize on the Afenyo Markin issue.
Okay.
At the time, Afenyo Markin demonstrated as a member of parliament.
Okay.
He demonstrated as an individual. Okay. So he doesn't enjoy any immunity. Okay. The police have every right to arrest him rather than inviting him. No. With the mistake of and say at the spot, you know. Yes. They should have arrested him on the spot. But we are not there so you cannot arrest him. That is the thing. So that is how ineffective our police is also here to a certain extent. You see, we very often cow them under political intimidation as well. Because an ordinary person assault to a police officer and immediately now much. So why can't we do the same thing? Because we need to strengthen and empower state institutions just to ensure that it doesn't matter who you are, because say are you MP na or this you need to arrest that person and prove to him that he's not above the law. You understand? You don't allow him to go home and chest out, do radio, TV interview. The following day, when you're backlash, I feel the police for that trust statement and I invite him. Who cares about that? I know the day, no. Or China, Obisia Bontino attack a police officer because an MP who is supposed to be a lawyer has led the way. And parliament, so I think that they need to institute certain disciplinary measures within the house. Because you see, your friend saying, as a group beer, a breedy, a trainee criminals, safe haven, breedy this kind of people. Because you see, over the years, Parliament say, oh, we are honorable people, but in recent times, the conduct and the behavior of some people within the house, you know, are not only unparliamentary, but this very honorable. That is what I'm saying, is that most of them don't even deserve the prefix honorable. It's very shameful because say obiti parliament now engaging in some of these things, and you expect the general public to accord you the dignity and the respect you deserve. You are a joker, because when I see you, I will see you for who you are, not because you are MP. We MP until the end. Abraba with the MP but if you get out there and engage yourself in this kind of lawless actor, I know the day, like any ordinary petty criminal out there, we will see you as a petty criminal, not honorable. So Parliament need to take certain decisive measures to ensure that some of these things and they need to make sure that they clamp down on some of these things. Oliver, social media, your friend is saying Parliament, you have a privileges committee. Yeah, sure. Why a deserved privileges committee more than this gentleman? Saturday appointment committee and a more exactly by the same Parliament. And I'm saying, sir, Parliament are losing the moral authority and the moral clout
to call anybody say you're disrespected because the house more or less is becoming like an avenue of contempt. Individuals no mugumna brabo mobono impugn the integrity of people out there. So you should not expect that people respect you for nema any way. And for me that is the problem. So the speaker, our responsibility on country parliamentarians there. Teteno na ye de sa nema no hunahuna amamfo na me ye MP makacha said ne Pontius Pilate no mo said that ye no samba biem a obi be so no kon ka kire na bro wodi nkwasasem what asem Lawmaker no tell people respect ne ye demand from people. You cannot threaten people and say me ye MP nti respect me. And that is why most of these lawyers are also losing their very essence, because in the past you can be a lawyer, people are called them that sense of dignity, but in recent times some come on TV and they speak and the poverty of intellect they live in their wake. You've seen a couple of lawyers who sit on TV na omudia matem na no me hu say obide ya titi akotena TV so lawyer and na all turn ho asoba. And these are people the GBA will not even find any reason to sanction these people. Say you belong to a very dignified association. As a member, you cannot misconduct yourself in this manner, and for that particular reason, we are sanctioning you or doing this. You allow all these things to go on. After Asambana go to the other side of the political party, and then all of a sudden the GBA comes in and issue a statement. And the statement is a funny one. It's not premised on anything sensible, because Sanka omutimi chire and say, oh, yeah, GBA. Yakom ma eda hono ya hu say the president Mahama ye ABC the wafom mra, and for that matter and the president should ye fen say on turn things around that. Then me ameti hay meba betena ha be defend say yes asema GBA can no credit because president Mahama fom mra, but these are lawyers who are supposed to be in the know so far as the law is concerned.
Know better.
Yes, but they are advertising sheer and raw emotions instead of arguing law. In some of these are emotional sentiments being expressed. Because none of them has been able to come on TV to tell us exactly what the president what be that? No one say emotional campaign, emotional sentiment in as for no mutugum saaka kenyansa bi anim an association of 5,000 members. Now we know about 52 question them baby no mo pass resolution one kasa organization we a serious organization, but there is no serious organization have friend members up to 5,000 52 never show up a church organization and kasa no people no no what lose your clout, what lose your essence, because it is not an association of lawyers, a political movement that some people use for a certain parochial interest, and for me that is what they are.
That shouldn't be so. They contribute to the society. No,
they are supposed to contribute to society. Listen, you know, if you go to other jurisdictions, do you know what people study law to advance the cause of society?
Yes.
In recent time, many of the politicians who are lawyers in our political space, you know what they do? Sometimes you listen to argument on TV and you yourself become more confused than the very people speaking. You understand? But you see, because they are not arguing wisdom, they are not arguing fact, they are not arguing law or evidence, they are arguing emotions based on where you stand across the political divide. And the NDC near MPP near and the direction of the law. We are not arguing in near mass and Nipabete. And for me, some of these things Emma Manfo lose respect in this country. So the GBA must realize that there is a sharp decline in terms of respect people have for them. And they need to do everything to bring their members apart. We need to become relevant in the eyes of the people. And can some nobody will question them if they've been able to premise their argument on something substantial, argument grounded in law. But Oba, and you're speaking raw out of emotions. There is nothing substantial, nothing sensible to be attributed to Nsabna Wokana. What do you expect me to do? And for me, that is the worry. So back to the MPP and the Chief Justice. You see, my culture says MPP is a sinking enterprise. It's a party that is diving into the sea. They have no relevance. They've lost their mojo, everything. So now, no. That's exactly what they are doing. They are on a foolish course. And anything but this
is a democratic right.
And that is why Mr. T argument. But you see, the question is, you are not demonstrating in the eyes of your friends saying some bunch of ignorant people, and let people are very much enlightened. Oh, yeah, demonstration. They want to know identity will demonstrate. And these are your facts. The fact is that somebody has submitted a petition to the president. The president has followed through, submitted same to Council of State. Council of State has reviewed the petition, and the conclusion is next step of the process has to be activated. And that is exactly what the president has done. Somebody wake up and says the president did not breach constitutional procedures. The question is which procedure are breaching? Consider me. Then we rectify it. You are unable to single out a single breacher. Do you think people will take you serious?
I see.
Nobody will take you serious. So you see, politics, you've gotten to a point. I think emotions are taking the larger part of the political discourse. Your politicking in this country, the major part of it has to do with emotions. And emotions, so in this space, our the intellectual table, whenever you go to the intellectual table with emotions, you only expose yourself and tell people how gullible and weak-minded you are. Because at that table, there is no room for your friends emotions. Yeah. The question is fact now what they about to substantiate your argument, and they are and Mrabena president a good for demonstration now. What are the bases? And they always say, oh, John Mahama say oba your friends say obey changes our the judiciary and now I owe you chief that's in the first place. Nipo mo lose my appointment under John Mahama. Unum mododo. Oko konfanatia na no
professor
okofie oko tamala okofie the Ghana your friend say statistician na nkasa o had okofie. So why are they not demonstrating? Are they no Ghanaians? Why do they have particular interest in the chief justice? So it will go to affirm the fact that under Akufo-Addo there was a deliberate attempt to pack the court. In case they exit power, they will be protected, and that's exactly why the MPP has taken this first entrenched position fixating on the chief justice alone, because there have been a number of people victims under John Mahama. Right. Why are you not speaking for these people? Why the focus is always on the chief justice? It affirms the fact that indeed you have a particular interest. And Debbie, the call to reset the judiciary, that call John Mahama they say resonating with the larger section of Ghanaians peeved about the sinking image of our judiciary. For me, that is the foundational institution of our democracy. We can lose the judiciary, we can lose the executive and parliament. Yeah. But one entity, very sacred, we cannot afford to do politics with it, is the judiciary. Right. And that is why Ghana for are calling and say we need to sanitize this house just to make sure that it works for the people. Very well.
Mesa ba ho no bi na ya to akomo so Lucius so be add some few input, but answer na no for Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital Emfa Emao. Dr. Sheikh Amibosu or say Nyakupo kwa any yare safo. Inti yare bi ye obia no. Bomodi aso beko Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital. Or your experts stroke fertility and chronic diseases. Yare bi ye crown crobia ha obia no. O de kwada so ya obetumi aboa na ene je se me se o hokofa machine won so bia ba enu na di tete o yare no na wapɛ ho aduro eso edi ama ti mi sro bomodi aso be Russia ko ne the branch e won cry e won dome I be slit flat down to the railway so no mo saso na lashebi or saso e wo ho no mo a shaman under bridge ho and also branches are who be Kumasi, Takrade, Nkoko, Temale, Bolga, Hoy, Bebieni, Enchi, Nkwanta, and that's for Bibrina. To be so called Dr. Sheikh Amibosu, one of Nonya Daje, Enfa, Bibidro, Enfa, Enka, Alternative Medical Hospital. Now on to me, Esho Yepa. The number is 0245 27 5254. 0245 27.
So Obia bet me a contest here.
Let me more declare which is hereby attached
of no right. So we knew that's a different thing. And this video need to be captured the level. And you see, show the caliber of people. A letter now to Afenyo Markin letter. Show the caliber of people we are talking about. This is a video that is circulating. Yeah. A man from what happens. It's not just about a video, because every video need to be captured. They see but there were people there, journalists and as a phone will be why now Babu and because a police officer indeed attacked this gentleman. All of a sudden he's painting the narrative. Nipana or no or victim no or try to make him Your fan saying so onu mom na attack no
video mo abunya hwe video ni bi no but you can still
and if nothing at all and MP you have no right say we don't say police officer or uniform you have no right so we need that's a different thing and the same person turns around and then trust statement about one thing say the police officer should rather be investigated. It's just a ploy just to sway the whole conversation because the focus will rather be on the gentleman, not on him. Yeah. And I'm sure the Ghana Police Service, or more munim, their integrity is on the line. So I'm back to now. I'm a man for attack or more. Who for the Muyebi? Because after this incident, police for no more holding in. They should even be sanctioned. Why they did not arrest him?
All police, not police for the so patch. Yes. Not police for more patch. They pay a boom for.
Sir, that tells you how weak our institutions are, because in other jurisdictions you cannot stretch your hand and poke a police officer even in the face, let alone say what they will say bono, and then the officers there will be saying honorable. And then today he's flipping the narrative, and that is who they are.
Maybe so, he has a superior evidence.
Oh, what superior evidence? And I'm telling you, sir, the reason why young people today don't respect people working with honorable, these are some of the things. Dishonorable character, they lack candor, they lack integrity, and these are dishonest bunch of individuals. With political power, and they think they are sitting on the moon. And I think the coming days in the way, with the monetization, I'm not sure anybody is surprised. Because my culture, that I say, the entire political landscape, has been monetized.
No, but is it not worrying?
It's a creeping culture.
Yes.
I am Godfrey.
John Dramani Mahama, who is the president, duly elected, Akwakoyi Nanemisini, say Omunkwatu Nuswaba, na government appointees, any assembly members are more endorsed, no mass answer.
No.
5,000, 4,000, 3,000 each.
No, you should understand, it's a culture I created that. So people think it's a normal thing. When you create such a sick culture, and nobody act on them, we normalize it. In recent time, you know how monetization is taking the center stage of our politics. And I've told you, sir, because of that, I give you a lot of idiots take it to enter into the political space because they have money. They speak and you become warriors. Now we need to free in or politics who make decisions, but because they have money. Because we don't vet people where they got their money from. So the monetization, cripple that culture, and access I name away some of these things are normal. So for you shouldn't be surprised. It's normal thing. So we call your parliament and for within political party. But I say we have political structure. The most corrupt group of people who are your political party delegate. How they start free? Your political structure is a corrupt group of people who a political party delegate, because that is why the whole corruption started from.
Are equally guilty?
That is why I'm telling you.
Delegates,
no, and they too, if you don't give it to them, they will not vote for you. So, JB, that is the culture that has been created. And in Nippon be free constituency, Obaba MP take it. Na ka wabogu hono. Enya kaketwa. And again, Wababa MP na wako constituency. Me say on a weekend we MP. We didn't want to fundaka hold abetono because obi obebia mebusu anie wo ba gisika free ho obi ko wedding obi ko adore. So we've created the whole thing to look like say it's a money venture nipa no kwa e sika puduo na ye odam enti bra na baji usika. And people who rise to political prominence, because they don't serve people, if I don't take my pound of flesh at this time, what are some American? And they will do everything because, for instance, this if we're not doing someone and taking a pound of flesh and now, or we are offering no crown. You see that kind of way, so that is the culture, and you don't blame the people more general. You don't blame the ATR, you blame the system that we have created.
Ivan, the most unfortunate aspect in this a DC can be sacked tomorrow. So you go and pay like what call mobilize about 100 or 200 or 300,000 or 400,000. Now they are called assembly members. No matter swaba. That's if you are in the news and in your news neighbor and as a president at his own discretion, he can just sack you. No,
you live. If you understand politics, they live by the moment. So they live by the moment. You understand? So you do everything to secure your position.
But they are quite me. I mean, about more than 500,000 or 600,000 citizens, they are talking about say, may they call elections or may they come here to me swab or something like that.
No,
I mean sometimes some of these things.
No, you don't blame. And I'm say you don't blame them. There is a culture, a sick culture we have created. Say, you may have all the brain in the world, all the intelligence, all the ideas. If you don't have money, you cannot survive in the political arena. And that is why the state must do everything to ensure that we crack down on some of these things. Are you saying that within the assembly people know that they are not paying money?
They know. And
so who is acting on them?
And Medina losing bonus. Was some part of Eastern region, very few other constituencies, no more losing bonus. Or other part of the regions, or more endorse or more MMDCs now, most of them. And even some of them even came out to say, first one, they almost so 5,000. And the Kokoba say, or more assembly members in the region, or could be a few this scandal. Yes, somebody did you know, this is Canada, Messandia Mamunti, Mufabame. The moment did be Madame Diamam. Unfortunately, that person's name wasn't mentioned. And when we continue like this, the system will not be well taken care of. About the Sanana, politics now a very romantic or lucrative venture for everybody to just step in, just all in the name of money. Innocent.
Yeah, so I know who say politics in any partner, my culture say human beings, if you don't create framework, are regulated the way they act. Every human being who has potential to click to their destructive best. We are very dangerous people. Human being was not created to be good. We were created to learn to be good. Naturally, we were all born bad. You understand? So you need to create systems and institutions to regulate human behavior. So once me and yes, as a state, I don't expect man say on his own he will do the right thing, because there are those you need to learn to be good, but to be bad there you don't learn it. That is why we say untrained criminals. We train people to be good. So until such system number tenase as I'm making sure say we find this way to Sanyama we say and some way okay, who doesn't know? Obianim. So this is what goes on within our system. Political party. Answer we by political party, your friends a candidate for a political party. Now cannon as for our board and now the so another day people are more what they take. The skills, the intellectual know-how to be able to help to navigate through this stormy circumstances, because they don't have cash, they will sit back and watch people who have money to go in and destroy the state for us. And that's exactly what we've been witnessing in recent times. Party chairman, constituency chairman, wine chairman. See the caliber of people coming up. And some of these idiots very soon, because they have money, they will tell you that they want to be president. Because they have cash. So there is no room for intellectualism, that kind of merit. Nipano, the ability to do. The space, has been hijacked by these high-stake bidders. They have money and they can do everything. And system to deflate this and then tell people, say, governance leadership is never about money. It is about people who have the ideas, people with vision. Because if you go out there and sell that particular thing to Obia, for instance, me pay MP, me constituency. Now, but Jimmy Sikana me took me the money and me ko. Can you come to me and say me baby ma? Because I can't mabono. Some of them are owning the banks. Some of them are owning the banks, huge sums of money. Some have taken money from loan sharks and they are paying. They have to pay. Obi who have sponsor any contract be a family. That's what they do. You understand? So some of these things, explain how ineffective the whole system has become. Now, Chroma it me a after 1 year na kwana say what be say ho de ntia because nipa na oye kwan no kata ya gigi afiri bisika na kan ye kakra bi. So you see niema ye kan nyina are just symptoms. O dwell on that you make a mistake. A systemic way be I engulf your system. Say corruption is endemic and it's pervasive. What are some of the approach you may go after some of these things to ensure that we distill corruption, even if we cannot defeat it, we reduce it to a barest minimum and to be affecting the focus of this nation. And that is what we need to do. And yes, sir, the can just portions of it. DC, corruption going on everywhere. Our parliament during the approval. And over the years we've been hearing this or say somebody called him to bribe the side and you understand?
Yeah, sure.
As somebody investigating here. Even parliament that accusation came up till date nobody investigated. You understand? So for me, a culture creative and we seem comfortable with it and it explains why the state is sinking. we really need to be very ready and say enough of this creeping culture. I ain't go for your political winner. I say no. I put you away the intellectuals away because no decent-minded individual me constituency me ko MP. Na ma betua sika ma menye. I won't give you one city
because sika na betua ntia.
Me work crab into your mouth because me we are me ba serve. If I'm coming to serve you, what should I pay? You understand? And that is the culture that we need to institute. For instance, if you go out there, Ghana has if people want to go into the army, for instance, look at some of the bribes people pay. But in America and other places, if you sign up, they give you bonus for signing because it's a risk adventure in a woko siki. You can lose your life, you can lose your leg. What I say. But why should a young man in Ghana dedicating who say I want to be in the army should go and pay bribe? And what about them? Police officer or call police also on bribe or we are going to bank and I'm robber bar on the first target obekuno. Or the brilliant van nimni a man to Gold Coast to a nation in the nine so I'm robber bar, I'm robber nukra, pistol or chiwakuno. This is a risk these people are taking and you are telling them say or no to bribe and sign off on a police officer. Oh more damn. These are things we've normalized in this country, you understand? People who sign for police will rather be given bonus. So because of our core army, we should give them bonus, not bribe from them. But the culture we've created now, normal. Everybody is aware. The political class, everybody is privy to this sick culture. I ain't go for your political way, no, but we seem normal. So for me, this whole monetization thing, no, we need a conscious, deliberate effort. You bet the framework, you bet me, I deal away with all these things, but all facets of society, or be called police agent bribe, or call soldier agent bribe, or call customer agent bribe, nursing agent bribe,
nursing training and nursing policemen.
And if you go to some of the universities, some of the programs they do, or Nim said they are taking 20 people, they will sell form to 2,000 people and take their money. And who are buying that way? I don't know that way. If you go to some of the universities, they know say they have your first space for 200 students. They will sell form to over 2,000 people, shortlist about 1,005 for interview and take money from them. At the end of the day, near for 200. And if the state institutions are robbing the people, how much more ordinary person? So system institution are setting and robbing a man for a chrono enterprise and I setting they are benefiting no they are benefiting no kasa. And that is the sick culture that we need to deflate. With this asset declaration thing,
in the next I think 1 minute.
With this, for me, I think that the kind of impact as you frame no, and for me, it's even becoming unnecessary because Nipa be declared a shameful from the so nobody is verifying us for them. We need some pragmatic approach. Say Nipa no the bar. We need independent way. They will go and verify and know say because obi betima ko bobo send the Kocaine account. Obi betima ko obi dan papers no was sign yana dey ontua sika bia. People can do all these things because in the name say me ba me own. Exactly.
Obi si dan obi we what transfer
yes, and I make say criminals, first, and the criminals are very intelligent people, very sophisticated in mind. It's a very sophisticated enterprise. Who you fool, you not survive. So some of these people can maneuver their way. The state need to institute measures to be able to verify and check all these things to know say indeed. Nipa and some now can I just church or never good papers. So the other one Ntim church or never good papers.
Let's just 30 seconds now.
Okay. Yeah. Now Ivan Kyei. Say this is assembly concept now. This is assembly concept,
Why be that?
That be. Stop Galamsey no sika no e won so ebi ekọ ho owi na waka say one na yere
menka say you see agro wa manfo ni so okroma as hunu a we don't even need to be discussing some of these things but abanasa because makacha say we media no affixate on sensational news, those kind of stuff. As my brand can hear complete nonsense. This is your friend say in summer we need to just trash it and because in summer can just nyansa be him and I doubt if you know there bar I'll be very surprised. Because me I think it's one of those diversional your friend say taxes and as for them. Even let's say some all can no correct.
Yeah.
Negate the fact that monies were stolen from state account. Doesn't negate the fact that he cloned state bank account, transfer money from this account to this account, and at the end of the day, we cannot find those monies. And Isn't it a fact to say he bought estate houses? He paid cash $1 million. Has he been able to tell us where he got those money from? And this is absolute nonsense. You see, we invest too much in emotional politicking. So if you know bad, don't deal with the fact. Sway the whole nation to the emotional line, you will survive. And that's exactly what is happening. At the end of the day, National Signals Brew, and your more finance opposition parties to buy is absolute nonsense. And the opposition party, I won't country. Be bold enough and mention who you gave the money to. You understand? Even if you gave the money to somebody, even in the NDC, we don't care. All we know is that you stole the money. And we want you to account. The other command, financing MP. That is not your business. You see, we are not living in a banana republic where monies can move from one account to any other account. Yeah, let's see the discussion. There is a legal framework where monies can go. Baby, anything outside your mandate, or your mind and now say you have willfully caused financial loss to the state. And this guy has foolishly caused financial loss to the state. All that he's doing is to implicate a lot of people, because the very moment he's able to rope in NDC, communicators, me say, man, then we've balanced the equation. Then the focus will move from Adubuahen, then some more crime opposition. This is absolute rubbish that nobody should even consider. The questions I was is what we need to. Monies were given to you as director of National Signals Brew. Monies, you cloned and created a separate account bearing the same name. The criminal intent alone can land you in jail. Because you're not supposed to do that. Then the gentleman went ahead to transfer money from this account to this account. What is his explanation? Says state in here is emergency or what state account, they will transfer from You see, we don't need to give oxygen of publicity to some of this nonsense. See, yes, I need party seminar. Me say on my way the ball. Because people will steal and will always find a way to spin narrative. Sabi about survival. Because Niamana Brantena ya no cratches as you nim nyansa. And I'm catch on because explanation ya all by and the absence of Beka. Satachi and the Kayo, so why the Kayo. And you manufacture this nonsense, push it to the media, and you want the reasonable men of conviction in society to say, so why are there? No, so what is the motive behind this particular thing? Or Beka when you are why are there now? Because you are not supposed to be financing political party within the operations of winning and Kahon. Again, are you supposed to finance your friends in Parliament? Parliament, who is Sika Mobia, why not the moment, and you were doing as for them. Sikana or the Kokoto estate in as for them. I think that you see, this thing is absolute nonsense. Focusing in the Attorney General. So you see, there be a Ghana General Siciano. Adia ba kwa ma Ghana for to abati akufuado aye corruption. And Ghana need every single reasonable minded person out there is suspecting say the John Mahama government will be very radical, very vicious in dealing with some of these ruthless criminals. We don't care how you do it. Once you are within the remit of the law, you make sure that these criminals, these organized criminals, don't get away with their crime. It doesn't matter how they try to spin the narrative. In the coming days, they will be mentioning names specific, trying to accuse and implicate individuals. I don't care even if you give money to John Mahama. I don't care. Because I never do this movie. What I say. So how you wasted those monies in as a forum? The Ghana for your name say this Ukoji Sikasa with the Koto surveillance equipment. In the end, you didn't buy. You ended up using the money to buy private properties. And I wouldn't send me Santino. You did all these transactions using bank account, doing transfer. When you know say this transfer or always leave a back trace. Now say Obia a crack to a primary school grab a boss and no way. And this weak-minded person was the person mining said the whole intelligence organization. That tells you how porous this country is. If this weak-minded individual and are not in charge of the national security, it tells you the kind of national security that we had at the time. They are just exposing themselves. And I'll be very surprised if Atachia as a person went through this thing and let it out. You see why recent time people are losing a lot of respect for so-called lawyers. Because you see, a lawyer is not about the degree on paper. It is about the clarity of thought, the reasoning acumen that you have, and how you are able to decipher things. Who said, "Never way as a way a reasonable men of society will not agree to this, they will impugn it, and once they impugn it, our integrity will become a casualty." If you are a lawyer and you don't look at some of these things and you think it's just political, we can just spin and throw this thing out there, me, I will see you for who you are, because when I see you next time, I will never respect you. You understand? But unfortunately, the Ghana and Kwane Kaso will be school. The just open didn't want answer. I just acquired them for certificate. The answer. But yeah, you can't be a learned or be a very intelligent. You don't need a certificate. When the person open their mouth and they're talking, you should be able to know, this guy is very smart, very intelligent. That is all that Yakos Koko you. Yes, I just certificate we do one answer. And that's nam no we have to go between other nam. What are some American? We really need to be very serious in this country. Attorney General, when's the prosecution and delay cross that Ghana for a form?
Yeah.
I know how ready they are. Say abanye mis now issues of this nature, you toy with it. Now they don't go through with prosecution. Trust me. After 1 year, the government will get dirty. So they need to do everything to ensure that these criminals and several other criminals out there, we go after them. Yeah, it's not just this one. Now, make sky training as a form. Attorney General should make sure that because these people getting them prosecuted is so easy. Because even how they conceive those stupid ideas now enough to land them in jail. For instance, yes, a sky train. Training the numbers as a cranny, and do more dama. Yeah, over Tenase as a board chairman, the pen and see papers. Oh, Matthias, Yamon Kofa, the Edinburgh William Numera, Chroma trainer from crying Nibi. So that silly conception of an idea Nankasa is enough to land you in jail. And at the end of the day, they went ahead, pumped $2 million into an offshore account. But see, the sky training your mind. Now, who jail will hear easy. You see, we need to begin to allow people to suffer for their crimes. For instance, now make about the National Cathedral. It's one thing that I buying a giant that I will never forgive them. Because we all saw from the beginning. Even young men in this country they don't hold PhD. They are not lawyers. They are not medical doctors. They could see from their house that this was a stupid initiative that the state was venturing into. We have a and now India, in terms of technology, rise to a point and America, most of the companies are outsourcing most of their jobs to them in terms of IT. And do for a bank, me person me who me bank balance and as for now you route to call to somebody in India or never more responses and as for because those jobs has been outsourced. Telecommunication companies in as for if you want clarity, they will route the call to other places because these people have become technologically savvy. People are taking advantage. So we are Maya. You train your people to take advantage of the digital economy. Yedi enyesikano, yesi the Kosi Cathedral and Yamedia Boniacha na umo dama way ya the 12th century and fan na say. That's why I told you say. Yakofa or your fans we are living in a digital world and Yakofa nipa o 12th century and edi o mababe gum and o mudin sem hunu and the cathedral some by nya sofo akase form mobo abankutupa and 58 akoshiagu mahu say yes ye audit na se a single silly decision that was made. It is not about sikana yasino even ideas now. If it is foolish, we need to find sanction people for that. And for me, that is what we need to do to set a stage. Say, so we are CEO, we are government, and as the or my baby shall say, you cannot be taking foolish decisions. Are those decisions, our high stake implication on the fortunes of this country and get away because you are CEO? We need to make sure that we punish people for their crimes. So, Attorney General, there. Or somebody, I'm telling you, because if he doesn't go through with this prosecution, maybe will be Ghana. I'm telling you, because the heat that will be coming, or regret is over here, your friend said. I'm telling you, because Ghanaians will never forgive him, and I know he will do. So I'm cautioning him. And I'm also urging him, he should go ahead. He should not lose focus. Some of these things coming up are absolute nonsense. Some of this nonsense being manufactured now. Be coming up, but he should be very careful, stay focused, and make sure a single person be our enough way on him will be prosecuted because that is what Ghanaians want. They want the judiciary to be sanitized.
Yeah.
They want criminals to go to jail just to send a message to people within this government. Say, also, that is the fate awaiting you. You see, over the years, people sitting afar are coming to a conclusion that there is a certain collusion between both political parties to steal. That is the impression out there. So if you don't do that, then it will go to your friend saying, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. But we saw how these people stole with impunity, disrespected the people of this country. Make sure say even Ghana for more sika investment these unwitting criminals cannot go scot-free. We need to make sure that we punish them for who they are, for what they have done for this, against this country. Say going forward, you know, Obiabe who say or minor, say because idea about how your minor fail to punish crimes.
Yeah.
Or minor, so we state that there are two things you cannot do: show weakness, show mercy. The very moment you begin to do some of these things, you are done. But Obia will take advantage. Oh, the Mahama, the Betchay, oh, wait there. And Chrome has a Assemsia now, software now him for Nam Dance no Copacha. President, you can never come to me so a patcho. Because I don't know about that jail. Oh, because Assembly and Semuna don't come to me. Now you know whom and him cry, you will not even come. You will not even come. So So we need to do that. South Korea, are you aware that Omo president? The whole president. This is not the first time. Previous president because of Samsung way on jail and several other high-stake individuals in other jurisdictions have suffered for some decisions that they made. But Ghana how be ko prisoner or you hear or be contomere or hear or comedy now now people are stealing with millions, and the same poor people in the name of emotion will come and they'll be singing praises for some of these criminals because a party for Nippon we need to protect their state and some of these things. So some of these things, you know, a section of the media will be spending it in a bid to justify for some that kind of false equivalence and as well. But you see, no smart or witty mind out there will fall for this crap. Nonsense is nonsense that has been manufactured just to sway the focus. But I am urging the Attorney General to stay on his ground and make sure, say, he prosecute these people. The prosecution has started. He should not waver. He should go ahead and do it. Some of these nonsense will be coming about.
Because we run a letter now. The one can the transaction between Ghana Water Company Limited and the private account.
Yes.
Because 1.3 million Ghana cedis every month. That is no, that is 1.3, right?
Oh yes.
Because 600,000 Ghana cedis, and there was a for every 2 weeks. To Kaboma, that's 1.3.
Yes.
Yes. And no, there one can once because and no, never says Sikano qua buying account.
Yes.
But one no just Sikana, no what short check, no what diverted their call in a private account.
Yes.
Services and also internet service. No, I buy there.
Yes. And you see that you no appointee, even President Mahama had a new right to move state money to his private account for no reason. And nobody should be defending these things. I don't know why people are able to find energy and conviction to defend some of this nonsense. The mere fact that the gentleman cloned account and signatory to those accounts, account, you know, that is criminal intent, can be established, and you need to suffer for that. So where you transfer money to, say me meti here in America radio now finance me, you cannot use that to wriggle out of the Nema why. What I say na make say. The mere fact is that Niemana Woyano were in direct contravention with established rules of engagement, bad books of the government, and then you have to be dealt with. Simple as that. Baby, as Sikano coin as what we can later do with the bus for me, and some kind of Ukrainian saying because when I was here, say, with the Sikano Kocaine Israeli company, so how come they never catch and say, oh, the financing way? Sikano move from an account there to Todano Kamasem, where he was able to pay for those Sikano Kamasem. Nayere properties are only in her name or Kamasem. A job Ben and all you come here, or to me, and yes, Sikano. That is why I make a say this lifestyle audit. We need to be very, 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 very way. Many property as people are in government today, we should put surveillance on every single individual They are pushing money to properties they are buying, and their strategy. Most Ghanaian politicians, say, they will steal money, buy property, and they will put it in somebody's name.
Yeah, often it didn't. So
no.
So tracing it will even be difficult.
About 90% of Ghanaian politicians steal money, they buy properties, and they registered in relative or distant friend their name. So we say state, and that is why we have intelligence distance. Say state near ready to delve into some of these now. You'll be able to find out and deal with them, and that is the best way. Some of these things for me, I won't fall for some of this nonsense.
All right, my make sure o message is one or two na remember Ivan Sobak. Ebenezer Mokto wudin yi me say e o de shadow tabo ni ye e ma o say no krepa e na mo kano ya Tracy Bensa o say until I see these criminals NPP going to jail Joma Hama, you are not doing anything extraordinary. Yes. I swear.
Yes.
Conscious agbenu akosu o say I trust innocent na niaje o say o say the kobiti na o kai no na niaje ho a wo hu do yi na Tracy emu de hi na am wani abra wosire but I think say Tracy asem na wa chro no a deep it will take a deep minded person. Yes. To understand because that na make say Ghana for by a troy no ora na na Ghana for any abre to abado vim ne ade to abado na na ora because ya nim se nkofo bi awia yen. Yes. And to say the innocent ken ya chi nipa no ahia se no obubodi o we ka ho said the be ya ebe yet say oh onu kwa na nko onye ahio na wodi sika ne manipa na adwen be na tachi da wodi sai sika wan na soma asefa sika ma obi when papa mu aka we o se de to bolem e na ade bi ma parliamentary select committee na ade bi ma ahwan yo ye to twere bolem intention nkwampo ye criminal
men feel no you see way I old playbook. Yeah, if you go back to yes Colombia
why me dia nya za no kan e na mo jijimi amebodi na aye komisi komisa na asem na
and then Colombia, Pablo Escobar days. Do you know what he was doing? Oton drugs, okunipa yebi onyasikani wi na ochema hiafo. That was what he was doing, financing poor people. But it doesn't justify say
the point.
It's an old playbook criminals have been using. El Chapo in the offense in Mexico. That's exactly what he's doing. They will sell drugs to destroy people, kill people. Onyesika na what you feel here ni what me bra $1 million for bra. But does it justify that?
Not at all.
The money is a crime money. You understand? It does not justify. So the Attorney General needs to sit up. There are a lot of I know be framing. Also 120 days, whatever. They don't care about anything. All that they want to see is to see these criminals in jail. That is the only thing that matters to them. Until that is done, nothing is done. So yes, because we saw what happened in this country. Yeah, nipa no mu wia ene sen komu yenyansa for kranka na obenya nipa onim nyansa no sen wia wo na wo sign ede ne na na bodi so di nkrase sem san kire wo and that pain na Ghana for ka say these people must go to jail.
All right, John Kwaku Sabi was Ivan is a great guy. Joseph Dawumo. Also, good morning, big man. Yeah, that's say. Yami inshallah. Oba no wa follow, no wa share. Na odo comment out to us. Ni akenkai Eddie. Mami assure say demonstration ni de hu nkoma. Grofo match pass ya wo mukoyi. They said the IPM eye sumbo no. Yeah. Aha, say sumbo na ye case because video na ba ya nyina ye hu bi ne de Afenyo Markin de bob post ni nasum. Ba Afenyo Markin kata or twro ye nra me kan ye no wo say post ni no na di kan ball no no born bossa na afi na koma loko nyame nkwan collapse ye national service ni bi na brain nsuo na omde ne kwotwere edan bi ho e na parliament clerk bi be fa no de ne kwada restroom enye san collapse nke bete no aye obituary ene ensema wa twro bebre nti sa no on police na di kan ball na na because ye won say after asumbo no onya energy to aso koye de na obeye nti at one point no kwada restroom at one point ye bre nsu anka wo collapse
oh ye joker and I make say you see Afenyo Markin is a joker you see in some now can he's rather exposing himself So he's saying, say, the police officer na born asum.
Yeah.
Na command kayati. And I find it in so cool and the coy and Oba Onya then back no police officer. You see some of these things. You see, you are not maybe not going so in a political campaign platform is now because there will be check a fact. You obeti me out for gumno.
Yeah.
The fact in say we are talking about somebody who is a sitting MP, minority leader of parliament. You see a police officer in a uniform. You know the uniform symbolizes authority of the state. The person, you know, because of the uniform he wears, you know very well, say, what we remember, I don't want we MP. What's no one someone assume in a video, the best thing you can do is to just apologize to the people. You don't just try to spin the narrative. And you see, that is the old playbook of the MPP. Maybe I sometimes I'm surprised people don't see these things. I don't want an issue. You see how they are spinning the narrative. It's the same thing. This thing has happened. There is a video circulating. I am very bad for his image and then as a forum. Yet he's trying to spin the narrative. And there are dogs within the media who fall for some of these things and they're also pushing it. The fact is that why would a sitting MP attack a police officer in a uniform? A police officer no say nya wona wo ye demonstration ka maho.
Yes.
And now Afenyo Markin is calling for equity. Yeah. All of a sudden the MPP as a political party are so patriotic to the sense that they care so much about Ghana democracy. Say Ghana for answering na NDC ni John Mahama say judiciary. Now me say since when? And omo sense of nationalism and patriotism no ebe wura since when? Koyatena Kroma in the last 8 years, who said being cross, some president appointees in Niamaya, Kroma saying they did not only threaten the foundation of our democracy, but endanger the very life of our people. We saw overriding tampering of our judiciary. Appointment individuals are anymore quite fast on a year staffing, not just the Supreme Court. Now, High Court, your friend is saying. The appeals court individuals are you do see obiasem na wudi tie nipa kro wi na yabawa baso na atamno da kosi Supreme Court. Whole lot of nasty stuff happened in this country. At that time, no, Afenyo Markin and Co could not save our judiciary because it was okay for them. For me, as a young man watching these people from afar, I see that these are fancy jokers out there that nobody should take them serious because we've gotten now me can say me chiro has say na am on social media we said that video were trending. The funny aspect of it and now man for air share but the impact of the message the people are now getting me say generation no we don't threaten people me MP and I said me say generation we know I say I'm for a pet mouth social media now or before no I say ma me watakra na man for you am be twem pana no say tell people why you have to be respected. Tell people why this thing is not good and they should not go there. Don't threaten people. Say say. No, that shouldn't be the impact of the message. So why yes, I now we think say because you are just an MP and for that matter people respect you. You will end up in the gutters because people will see you for who you are. The mere fact is MP and yet the infantry and the power to attack a police officer in uniform, and instead of you to apologize, you are just trying to spin the narrative to make it look like the gentleman attack you. Your narrative doesn't even make sense. It defies logic, it defies reasoning and common sense. Because what's Obama when you brew and I found no call baby and the Kocaine now buy and also so boni be an answer saying does it even make sense in any way? So for me, I think that these people should be disregarded. Nana Mekacho said the MPP has now become a sinking enterprise. It's a party that is going down. Instead of them to elect reasonable men of conviction to bring the party back, there are a lot of intelligent people in the MPP. And Mekacho said, Obeti said, Boachi Jakone, Sa Adenimo, these are men, Utio Monum Kasa, you could see, sir. These are men of substance. These are people who should be leading the rehabilitation of the party, not an emotional stricken individuals who come, they open their mouth and they get people angry the more. MPP by oppositioning, Ghana for even getting more fed up and angry with the way and manner they are acting. Because they become so much combative. This is a party that was known to be a party of intellectuals. Mahama Basia, Abadan station boys, Omo Kasao to Kra, Otinchana or Osima or Sianfim. But the intellectuals no more party no more. All of them have been relegated to the background. and all of them have become insignificant in the affairs of the party. And they liberty, quote unquote, this bunch of emotional idiots and destroying the fortunes of the party. For me, I care about the MPP coming back as a strong political party to be the opposition we want them to do. You understand? But as long as they continue to allow these jokers, these attention seekers, to continue to dominate the news for bad reasons. Now, at the end of the day, the party will not get back. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
They've suspended it. It ended up in another big dog fight. Dog bite dog. Kennedy, yes, and dog bite dog. Exactly. Yeah. So this whole thing, you see how? So we are Nipa now party. You should be worried. This is a party under Kufuor time. High pay to be party of intellectuals and so forth. Taxi drivers from America and so forth. Of course, some back room. The catch is much university. About university for corners. These jokers came into this country, they stole from the state, and now they've got him money talking nonsense on TV. Say, you see, they need to come down from the high horses. Arrogance, me say, in this space, our politics, in this space, our governance. Yeah, do you know why people become arrogant when they get political power? Yeah, they be a funny inferiority complex. When you don't believe in yourself, you think that you have nothing to offer.
Yeah.
You need external to hang on to become relevant. And Nipano on their own, he knows that he cannot compete. He has nothing to convince you. So Osikadie and as any other material thing, coming back to complement and taking care of those things he's lacking.
Yeah.
And become so much arrogant to the sense that he's not even ready to listen to you again. When people lack wisdom and intelligence, they don't want to engage you in argument. So what they do is they become very vocal and very frontal. And the one in a can't say, Mukasamu come no makanyansa sema, he cannot survive. So I say I didn't talk. And the growing up, Uko school as a teacher anyway, Timo, no Sane Mano, I beneath it in most of them. Because they have certain intellectual weakness. I don't even want students to get closer to expose them. It's the reason why when you will not even get close, they ward you off with that kind of behavior, that kind of aggression. And for me, the MPP, those Allah Nena Seform, Allah Minim say Wajayo, so Basian Babak, Boache Jakun, and those other individuals, they need to take the center stage and rescue their party from these criminals and attention seekers. Because as long as the MPP continue to be in the hands of these jokers, trust me, the party will go nowhere. But the party need to come back, regroup, and at least act as a reasonable opposition. Criticizing, and for me, tell me what moral authority does the MPP as a political party have at this time to be talking the way they are talking? Because this is a party while wrecking the foundations of this country. They've destroyed this country. The economy of this country was on the downward spiral. And John Mahama by within 4 months was a wine. Look at how the dollar has been able to stabilize. What besides how is able to do this? Senka Baumiane MPP pension and Kadi we see and can lectures are hold on more organizing Okrumano and Kenya the Ketua. But here we are once again. People are not even talking about it. The John Mahama is not even celebrating this particular feast. But it's a great achievement. What's me here? And the city is in the forum. So for me, I think we need to stay focused. These people are ready to learn their lessons. Arrogance and more power. That kind of unwitty decisions no make at the time. Is the same. Fighting for me, answer any argument. Now, no catch out the Ghana Bar Association. Another group of people, they were just barking like dogs. They were not able to tell you what John Mahama has done wrong, and for that matter, that's what punish will be. But see, what will be at me reasons. And as you go back to what John Mahama has done. These are crazy bunch of individuals because you see the power to suspend or not to suspend Chief Justice, the Constitution, the President Kocaine Article 146 down was or say, see it may establish a premier facility. Now say you set up a committee. The President has the power either to suspend or allow the Chief Justice. That is a discretionary injunction on the President, and only him alone. We are Ghana Bar Association. I was on resign to me. One case I said damn the whole team because you should know law. That's what I'm telling you. So as a lawmaker, as a lawyer, you should not be talking like somebody who make coffin. Because no, you want to say fundaka. But as a lawyer, if you are talking like somebody, sabi onimwe, you know very well that particular president alone. Yeah. So why will you interfere? He can decide to or not to. But to say you the name court because I exercise no chess, I say be a damn baby. That is why the association has become some kind of a political movement. So for me, I think we need to focus and stick to the na yama Ghana for who say on mind by be no Ghana for your emotional gullible individual just do anything and get away and become way relevant. And Ghana for demonstration almost as you see how they were treated. Nobody took them serious. You understand? Yeah. So for me, I think we really need to stay on track and make sure near Ghana for deserve the panel. That is what we do.
All right. Bradley.